In India, to be very candid, we are a very small startup. So our journey to kind of get into an OEM and do business with them or onboard ourselves as a vendor is going to be a humongous challenge for us to overcome. So what we've done is we've partnered with tier one suppliers who are already vendors to these OEMs, and we are trying to embed our solution as part of their component. So it could be an instrument cluster, it could be an infotainment, audio video navigation device. So from April, uh, we are well positioned to launch two products, one for passenger cars and one for heavy commercial vehicles, wherein the infotainment would come embedded with the connected car services, and the user would have the option of continuing the service after the warranty period. And we have a lot of additional layers pertaining to advertising and marketing and car related commerce. So we call it v-commerce, though most of them are familiar with e-commerce. We call it vehicle related commerce, and I see a huge potential for that particular service, and I'm very confident of us as well as other stakeholders building revenue streams on top of all that data. So if you look at the objective or the vision of Theia, we want to be like the Play Store. Uh, so our model involves supplying hardware, or it could just be the software platform, or a combination of both. And when we talk about software platform, we basically give the source code of the front end web user interface, and our back end platform, which is proprietary, would act like an operating system. So it would be something like a Google for the vehicle ecosystem, where we would allow third-party service providers, system integrators to build additional services, additional apps, and then see what sort of data it could collect and what sort of user engagement it does. So let's rewind 10-15 years back. I'm sure you know more than me about commercial vehicle and the owners who have tried to bring in technology from Far East or the West and have tried to implement this in their vehicles, but somehow couldn't scale it or somehow couldn't sustain. But if you were talking about 10-15 years back, pardon my saying, uh, it was not the current generation which was basically running the business. So, for example, if both of us know a fleet owner called Mr. X, it was Mr. X's father who was running the business, and he may have, just got it from his father. Um, so, what happened then was number one, awareness of how technology could improve fleet productivity, reduce costs, and improve efficiency. Number two, the industry as such, I would say, wasn't ready to adopt all of this, right? So today you will see a demand for vehicles fitted with GPS. 15 years back, if I was a fleet owner and if I went to, let's say, if you were the shipper and I said, hey, could you pay me a rupee and 50 paisa more for a kilometer because my vehicle has a GPS? The answer would have been, well, that doesn't make a difference to me. You tell me how soon and how safe could you deliver my consignment to my customer. But thanks to evolution of technology, including your internet, including your mobile phone, smartphone, people are now more aware of technology and better and ever ready to adopt it faster than before. The other key factor is the next generation has inherited the business in most cases, where we are talking about someone who's done his or her MBA from UK, US, or Australia. In fact, a couple of them from very esteemed organizations. And the first thing that they want to do is see how technology could play a role. It could be in their day-to-day operations by implementing ERP for your fleet services, for your staff salaries, for your maintenance costs, expenses, or it could be technology in the vehicle. In fact, the market has become more aware to safety related features and components in the vehicle. Driver safety, the kind of importance that it has today, did not have that about 15 years back. I mean, Ramesh, you should correct me if I'm wrong here. As I say, you know more. You've been part of the journey much before I have been. But if you look at it, on one hand, computers evolved, mobile phones evolved, internet evolved, which means from a hardware standpoint, hardware started to become more affordable. Tell me 25, 30 years back, would you find a transporter having 5 or 6 laptops or even a server for that matter in his office? No, it was all being done on paper. Tell me if drivers had cell phones in the early 90s or late 90s. I mean, even you and I may not have had one. So if you look at it, there was evolution on the hardware side, and then in terms of connectivity, we moved from basic 2G or rather landline phones to 2G, Edge, GPRS, all the way to 4G. So what this did was this ensured that adoption and awareness kind of happened at all levels, be it the driver, be it the munshi in a transport company, or be it the owner himself. And now, with a lot of guidelines coming into picture, a fierce competition on the data front, with one of the leading companies launching services free of cost for a pilot period, launching cell phones free of cost, of course, with a security deposit. What this has done is this has basically made drivers aware of connectivity, technology. They are more aware of apps today. They may know what's trending on a YouTube. They may have the latest WhatsApp videos that you and I don't have. I'm just giving an example. So to answer your question, long story short, today the fleet owners, the fleet managers and the drivers are able to correlate how technology could help and make their day-to-day lives better. None of the drivers, or rather a significant portion of the drivers whom I know, don't consider a GPS device as an invasion of their privacy. So they say, साहब हमें क्या फर्क पड़ता है, हम थोड़ी चोर हैं, आज भी हम गाड़ी उतनी स्पीड से चलाते हैं, आज भी हम वहीं रुकते हैं खाने के लिए. You must be aware there is a dhaba called Reta or Reti Dhaba the moment you cross the outskirts of Gurgaon and Palwal. So it's a given that all trucks that move out of Gurgaon would stop there, right? So for the drivers, I think slowly and steadily they have accepted and adopted the fact that there is a device. But what Thea and I are trying to do here is we want to connect the driver to the ecosystem. Today the driver has no idea what's happening. He knows what his origin is, he knows what his destination is. He may not be aware of traffic conditions. He may not be aware that he should be taking a 2 hours rest, because even if he drives, he's going to spend the next 2 hours on the road in a congested traffic or a congested toll plaza. So there is a lot of hyper local data which the driver should be able to access and make or take decisions about his transit time or transit journey. Today all of them are connected to the telematics ecosystem, right from the shipper to the transporter to the person who receives the consignment. But the driver in most cases is not connected. Well, some of them are trying to come up with driver apps, and they're asking drivers to run it on their phones. Well, if I was a driver, I wouldn't do that. I mean, why should I waste my phone's battery and data to run an app which is not going to give me any benefit? So what we are trying to do is connect the driver through our product and then build additional layers of safety, security, and a bit of entertainment, and also trying to reward them based on their driving index, based on their trip performance. So, as far as the fleet owners are concerned, they have welcomed this. We need to fine-tune our business model. We need to fine-tune our pricing. They have welcomed this and they said, yes, this is the need of the hour. As far as the fleet supervisors or the munshis as we call them, they are saying, Madhu ji, हमें कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, हमें सिर्फ data चाहिए. We don't want to get into the operational aspect of whether a device is working, whether it's damaged and all of that, right? And as far as the drivers are concerned, they have all welcomed this. So I'm not going to say OEM, but I'm going to use the word shipper. At a shipper's level, believe me, they are doing more than crunching. So what normally happens, Mr. Ramesh, is whenever you deploy a product or a solution, you would only address 80% of the use cases. A lot of companies consciously leave the 20% because they know once the product is put to test in a vehicle or among end users, the remaining 20% is going to come from them. In some cases, I have personally seen a product transform 50%, where we thought 6 out of 10 use cases are going to benefit the customer, but then we realized only 3 of them benefit the customer, the end user. So if you talk about a shipper, believe me, they have crunched not just the data, but they have also crunched product managers straight into their skull and said, start thinking like a driver, start thinking like a fleet owner and a shipper, which has basically transformed the whole approach to vehicle tracking. So it's no longer vehicle tracking. It's about end-to-end visibility of vehicle safety, driver safety, and cargo safety. They are all now clear about. They are all clear about the transit time. They are clear about routes that the driver should take. Some of them have gone to the level of tying the time zone for dispatches based on the delivery location, right? So if something has to be shipped from, let's say, Jamnagar to Kolkata, they are aware that if you do that, in the morning between 6 to 10, then the driver would probably leave the plant, halt the vehicle, and then cross a couple of cities where there may be no entries. I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying that a particular company in Jamnagar is or is not doing it. But since you asked about data crunching, yes, a lot of them are doing that. They have data scientists, they have analysts who constantly look at this data. They build analytics and dashboards, which in turn help the shipper. It also helps companies fine tune their product and application. So yes, the data is being put to use. So as far as the core motherboard or your PCB is concerned, it is all designed and developed by us. Happens outside India. A lot of technology comes from places like Kiev in Ukraine, Almaty, Kazakhstan, Moscow, Russia. A lot of algorithms, a lot of firmware related development happens out here in India. And then in order to in order to deliver that as a finished product, as far as the IP casing and wiring and SIM cards and all of that is concerned, it is procured in India, and the assembly is done in India. So right now we've not done it in mass volumes. We only have let's say 5 or 6 dozen vehicles running on this. But depending on what sort of volumes we would be catering to, manufacturing in India is certainly the go-to option. Well, others are in the same field. Some of them have certain components. I wouldn't say a lot of them have all these components. Competition is definitely good. Competition right now is doing much better than what it was doing. And it wouldn't be fair for me to compare us with them, because they are sharks in the ocean or whales in the ocean, and we are just an aquarium in a fish pond. But we hope to reach the ocean soon. Let's learn to swim in the aquarium and then move to the ocean. But yes, there is a key differentiating factor. I probably wouldn't be able to reveal much about it until we get our patent, but it is going to develop, it is going to benefit the driver, it is going to benefit the fleet owner, and as I said, real-time performance, visibility and safety would be of prime importance. A small example is in India, you would see drivers trying to drink a bottle of water, just gulp water while they are on the move. So you'll see them holding the steering wheel on one hand, and then on the other hand they would try to basically drink a glass of water. Now my system would obviously monitor and record that as a while. It involves a combination of vehicle diagnostics, and then it involves a camera in cabin. We are right now agreeing, disagreeing, arguing on whether we need a camera to be facing outside, and then a combination of all of this is going to be given to the fleet owner and the fleet user. In fact, a lot of documents wouldn't be carried physically by the driver. I don't know if you're aware, MORTH is now approved digitalization, or has approved digital copies of documents. So we already had this as a feature wherein the driver would be able to share a copy of the digital document instead of hard copies of the e-way bill or his RC book or insurance and fitness certificate.